Hello, everyone. I want to do my best here to articulate a thought that's been present for me. Astrologically, we're looking at Jupiter in Cancer, making its final square, culminating in its square to Saturn and Neptune this week. So remember that Jupiter always expands and blows things up. It makes the truth or the reality of a situation very evident. And that's sometimes going to accelerate or sort of bring out certain dynamics that are currently unfolding, making it more clear in the light of day. The issue with this square, one facet of it, it's a sort of limited tribalism, a tribal-oriented kind of thinking, where we're concerned with protecting and defending the security and the safety of me and my people, my tribe, whatever I identify as a part of me, my home, my sense of belonging, my tribe, ethnicity, culture, race, religion, belief system, and those that are like that, those that are a part of that. We have our individual family, maybe your religious community or your church or your synagogue or your country or your nation or your religious group. These are all different expressions of what we will consider to be a part of ourselves. And they can be in a different part of the world, but we'll say, oh, these are part of my people. And this is true for all of us. If you grow up within a particular social, ethnic, racial, religious environment, there's going to be a sense of that kind of context or environment is a part of my identity. It's a part of who I am. And it's also true that if we meet someone from a very different kind of context, different world, from some other place or orientation or land or way of life that is very different than our own, but as a child we played with them, or they're our neighbor and our children play with each other, or one day we didn't have a lawnmower and they knocked on our door and said, hey, I noticed you needed a lawnmower. Do you want to borrow mine? Any moment along the journey where we experience a shared humanity with that of the other. In that moment, there's a sense of, you're not different than me. On the surface, there are different ways of thinking, politically, socially, religiously. There might be a very different kind of cultural experience, and they might be from a different country. We can have a friend in a totally different part of the world. But once we start seeing that they are no different than us, we now care about them, and we will always wish for their wellness. We will want them to be safe. We will be concerned with their children. If there's war happening in their part of the world, we will be concerned of them. We will go to sleep thinking of them. And suddenly our world and our sense of home and security and safety has expanded beyond just our tribalism. Now, the opposite is true. Those whom we don't understand, to whom there is no sense of human connection with, they're just this abstract other. They're the other team, the other side, or those people. It's very easy to abstractly justify and sort of dismiss their suffering. And I've seen this spoken for many people in terms of whether it's Israel and what Israel is doing to the people of Gaza, or whether it's Iran bombing Israel or Israel bombing Iran. In all cases, there are people suffering. There are women, children, humans in danger. And I think this has been most commonly spoken. I've heard this from a lot of Jewish friends. Well, Israel needs to defend itself. And that can easily sort of justify the mass starvation and the genocide of an entire population of people. Children and parents losing each other, children losing limbs, orphaned. I mean, there's so much suffering there. But, well, Israel has to protect itself. And it's all justified. I promise you, that mentality is not possible if you know one person in Gaza. If there's one person that you talk to on the phone, that you care about, that you have a relationship with. It's not possible once there's some humanity there. And that doesn't mean you have to change your political ideology. It's like it starts with, oh, I care about this person. And that then brings us back to our beliefs. But we see our beliefs don't always land in the heart. Once there's caring, we actually have to adjust our beliefs to hold a little more space for the compassion and caring that we have inside. And I've seen people kind of repeat what's often been said about Israel has the right to defend itself. Well, Iran has the right to defend itself. Well, I guess it's very easy to then justify and kind of be cold about possibly innocent civilians in Israel also dying and suffering. we can easily do that to any people of any land, of any group that we don't care about. And yet we have human beings that are suffering in all of these places. So to expand beyond the limits of our limited tribal way of thinking and to appreciate our shared humanity, as more and more people begin thinking that way, that power becomes greater than the current, Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, like this idealization of the military state. That's what we're seeing a lot of, from a lot of the world leaders right now. It's this idealization of military force for our protection and defense. It never ends well. World War I did not end well. World War II did not end well. No war ended well without there being immense suffering and pain. And then there's a residue of the war, the after effects of the war, which really just plants the seeds for the next war. Things don't resolve with war. So as that love grows, as our caring for one another, and we drop the political arguments and understand that your neighbor who has a very different perspective and view, when shit hits the fan, if there's caring for each other, even if there's some kind of crazy one side versus another side, we can't hurt or wish ill upon someone that we love and we care about. And so the more we expand our love, the more we're going to find ourselves in a situation where we're going to care about more people. And that's more vulnerable, that's more tender. And then we have to become less defensive, less guarded, less protective, less militaristic in our thinking. And I think that's a big part of the healing right now. And as that grows, that becomes more powerful than the illusion of power that we see growing in the world stage right now. Check out the description below to learn more about my work. I offer individual and couple and long-term soul-to-soul companionship sessions. I have a self-study training program and many other classes for those who want to study this work. And I often write articles along with these videos. You can subscribe to that in the description below. Thank you so much for watching.